What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to discuss Colin Kaepernick working out with the Las Vegas Raiders. All that and much more coming your way right now! Alright, before we get into today's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and like the video as it will help us out tremendously. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video. Alright, Nick, as teams get situated for off-season workout programs, we see the Las Vegas Raiders bringing in just some random quarterback maybe to compete for a oh no, it is Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick coming in to work out with the Las Vegas Raiders. It seems like he might have a possibility of backing up Derek Carr, maybe working with new incoming head coach Josh McDaniels and company. Definitely an interesting move here, and I want to get your thoughts because I think we both feel the same way. Colin Kaepernick definitely deserves to be in the NFL. When you take a look at the talent or sometimes lack thereof at the quarterback position, backing up some of these guys, when some teams are going 2-3 deep on their depth chart, you would say that Colin Kaepernick should absolutely be on an NFL roster. And I want to hear your thoughts on him working out with the Raiders and kind of what his fit would be like with that team.
Yeah, I think this is a long overdue opportunity for Colin Kaepernick. This guy has had his own private workouts that have been televised, and he's shown that he has the talent to be on an NFL roster. And he's even come out and said when he was practicing at Michigan that he is fine being a backup. He's fine going through that process and working his way up back into a starting role because he believes in himself. All he's asking for is the chance, and now he's finally been given the opportunity to try out. And I believe this will work out because the Raiders have said earlier this offseason that they are interested in potentially signing Colin Kaepernick. Now making this move, I am well inclined to believe that they are going to have him signed on the dotted line, and he is going to be backing up Derek Carr. So I think that's a great pairing. Las Vegas is a team that's on the rise, full of star-studded talent. And hey, if Derek Carr goes down, you need to make sure this team stays afloat. Colin Kaepernick would be the perfect guy to step up in place of Derek Carr if needed, because he's been to the biggest stage. He knows how to compete at the highest level. This guy was one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL for years. And because of an off-field issue, everybody decided that he wasn't worth playing. The NFL talent is still there, and he's going to get another shot. And if the Raiders sign him, they're a lucky team because they're getting him at a really cheap deal.
I want to go back to something that you brought up, and that would be like Colin Kaepernick being able to provide some insight because he's been to the big game. When you look at Josh McDaniels, obviously he comes from the Bill Belichick coaching tree, and one thing that Bill Belichick has always taught his players is that they need to listen to other guys, whether they're as good as them or not. If they have had that championship experience, they need to respect that and learn from them, understand what it takes to get there, learn from their mistakes. I think Colin Kaepernick can provide that insight, being a part of teams that went to back-to-back NFC championship games, going to the Super Bowl, understanding what that felt like, how the process was to get there under Jim Harbaugh, and leading that team. I think Derek Carr could learn a lot from Colin Kaepernick in this situation. It's just a little puzzling to me because obviously the Raiders made a trade earlier this offseason to get Jarrett Stidham from the New England Patriots, and while Colin Kaepernick is much more talented than Jarrett Stidham is, I just wouldn't understand why they would make that trade and then also go out and get Colin Kaepernick. I think personally that Josh McDaniels wanted to try Colin Kaepernick out, see what he has, and possibly maybe bringing him in, but essentially just evaluate for himself whether he could be a potential option later down the line if something were to happen to Derek Carr.
I don't necessarily agree. I think Jarrett Stidham was a guy that Josh McDaniels was familiar with, and he knew he could get really cheap, and he did based on the trade that happened with the Patriots. Jarrett Stidham is the first guy who would be cut if they were going to make room for Colin Kaepernick. He's somebody that they really don't have any ties to, And bringing Colin Kaepernick would be the right move, because why bring him off the street when you could have him learn your playbook and get up to speed as a backup and hear the play calls between McDaniels and Carr, get used to the play calling, have that off-field experience, you know, learning from the current quarterback and understanding how this team plays, because this is a whole new regime. Everybody's learning it, and you might as well get on board now when everybody's starting fresh. I believe that this would be the perfect time for the Raiders to strike, not hold off in emergency, because there could be another team that, if given the opportunity, say the Raiders don't sign him, a team like the Carolina Panthers or the Seattle Seahawks might try to go after a guy like Colin Kaepernick. There are still quarterback needy teams out there. Even though Jimmy Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield are staying on rosters, Colin Kaepernick is a different option that a lot of teams have not been exploring until they are, and that moment is starting now. So if he leaves the Raiders facility without that contract, I guarantee there's going to be other teams calling to say, we need you in here for a tryout.
Yeah, I think it's also important to note that prior to his workout with the Las Vegas Raiders, Colin Kaepernick was actually receiving interest from 2 other teams. They have not been specified, but I would have to imagine that the Carolina Panthers and or the Seattle Seahawks were at least one of those teams. I think that when you take a look at the quarterback position across the NFL, there's some questionable players out there. Drew Lock starting for the Seahawks, maybe Sam Darnold for the Carolina Panthers. I mean, we don't really know at this point. I don't think they know. I do believe that Colin Kaepernick would give both of those teams a leg up on the competition. It's just, what can he bring to the table? What can he do for an offense? Personally, I think Colin Kaepernick would make the most sense with the Seattle Seahawks. I know Seahawks ownership has already talked about that he should be in the NFL. I know Pete Carroll has already sung his praises. Seeing him firsthand twice a year, he knows exactly what Colin Kaepernick can bring to the NFL football field. I believe that he could lead a team with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett on top of newcomer Kenneth Walker in the backfield. This would be a very dynamic and explosive offense, almost like the old Russell Wilson days prior to his injuries. I could see this being a potential massive fit for them. It's all got to play out, but I would like to see Colin Kaepernick back in the NFL, and I know you would too, Nick. All right, well, I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments down below what you think of Colin Kaepernick working out with the Las Vegas Raiders. Let us know if you believe that another team should go out and sign him. Let us know in the comments down below. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.